Well, you just saw it. Wow, what a great cantata. The whole entire thing was just beautiful. We've got the team here today that really made it all happen. We've got Miss Jennifer Sheldon, our Director of Music.
Doctor.
Doctor, you honorary doctor, that's right. I've been waiting to go down and get my doctorate from PJ. Maybe just a master's, but anyhow. We got Mr. Mark Feary here, obviously playing the piano. Connor Tridy, who was the man behind the spaceship, as we call it back there, the video switcher, and Gary, as always, the sound guy. So I just want to talk to you guys about this video, the Oh Holy Night video. It was amazing. There was a buzz around the church. Jennifer, you were the brainchild behind it. What was your inspiration? How did it all come about?
Well, I saw something like it at another church, and I thought, I want to do something like this. So strangely or funnily, I don't know which is the best, Mark and I started a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I found the music, I sent it to Mark, what do you think? And this was in January 2023. And I remember thinking, there's snow now, let's go.
Yeah. Can we pack the piano up and leave today?
And so that's kind of how it all started, and brought in the team, and we all brainstormed and talked about how can we make this happen, and what are the key things we want to look for, and it was clearly a team effort. It was great.
Certainly was a team effort. We were up there in the forest. We took. I'm going to just kind of segue, Mark. I'm not going to skip you, but Gary, we took a piano.
Yes. Yeah.
Up to the forest.
Not only a piano, a 900-pound piano.
That's right.
And so I was asked, how are we going to get this piano out in the middle of the forest? And I didn't have any idea, but I went to A to Z Rents and said, okay, do you have any kind of a great big giant dolly that can move a 900-pound piano through the forest? And they said, well, years ago, we had this big, I'm not sure that we still have it. And we went looking around, and way in the back corner of the lot, buried under old dust and pallets and everything else, they had these great big dollies with real big sets of tires and 4 wheels, and you could use that to actually roll the piano through the forest. And they said it was some kind of a hay bale dolly or something like that. They hadn't rented one out in years, but
just waiting for their destiny.
Yeah, exactly. But thank the Lord, we went there, found it, and it made us actually be able to get the piano in and out without killing ourselves.
Now, a picture or a video is worth 1,000 words. Jennifer took a little behind the scenes. Let's take a look at that.
We don't need Mark. Why are we loading up a piano on a trailer in September? Well, it takes working this far ahead in advance to get things done for Cantata. Oh, I felt that. Oh! Oh, play it, soul brother. We don't need Mark.
So as we're pulling it off the trailer, I mean, there was tree stumps and pine needles, and I mean, it was slippery. How did Connor? How'd you get that thing up there? You were pushing, I think.
That was my workout for the year, I think. Yeah, I mean, after we found our location, we talked about that too while we were scouting, just being like, okay, we really like this setting and we want to do it here. Is it still viable to get the piano out there? So on the day of shooting, I think it was you behind the wheel of our big truck. We were guiding and backing up.
Trailing was my thing, but
yeah,
pushing was yours. I mean, I just looked like I was helping.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I guess just a sheer will. I guess sort of.
It was a lot of work.
You kind of have to. You just sort of concede to what needs to be done to get what you're going after.
The landscape shaped our path. I mean,
but there were tree stumps and things that we were trying to clear, and like bringing the trailer in as close as we possibly could get it, so we could lug it as quickly as we could.
So I think the important thing for us regarding the forest was to find a location where there wasn't people, where we could just shoot and be all by ourselves with the piano in the middle of the forest. And so we were...
That was kind of a long time, right? I mean, we took a long time of figuring out where to go when we started.
Lots of scouting trips.
And to Prescott, and we ended up in...
Camp Wamatichik.
Yeah.
Thank you for remembering that.
Well, the way I remember that is because I went to, when I was a campfire girl, I went there to camp. Can't put them on the chair.
I could picture you, Jennifer, as a campfire girl, playing the piano.
For those of you really wanting to know, it was out Senator Highway, way up to where they have all the camps up in the forest. It was a wonderful place.
And they couldn't have been kinder.
Nicest people.
Yes, to let us have our own time and as much time as we needed, and they just left us alone and let us shoot.
Yeah, it was really fun. Now, Mark, you came up, and I guess the main question is...
I avoided the piano
You did. It was good. The talent always has to, But in all seriousness, so, I mean, you played that piano in the forest, the exact same tempo, tone,
Right.
as you played it live in the sanctuary. Tell us how that
It's
happened.
probably two parts, I guess. The forest part, instead of using like an in-ear monitor, we had a battery-powered speaker that we hid in the bush. Yeah, it was a pretty sizable speaker in the trees shooting towards us, so I could hear the music, and it had the click track in it, so that I could play along with the click track, so that the filming and the video and then the live performance could all happen.
Now, you
together.
mentioned this click track. What? It was something new for me. I mean, I'm not a musical person. What? Say what? And it was
What
so.
is it? Yeah.
It's this little. Can we play a little bit of that? It's.
Yep. It's basically a metronome. If you grow up playing piano or an instrument, you will probably have spent time with a metronome. And it's usually used to work on your rhythm so that you play steady when you're working your way through your pieces. Now they use it a lot. If you're using tracks, loops and all that kind of stuff in your production, you put that in there so that everything stays together. And now that everything's digital, it's basically another line on the screen, right, of all your elements. So that enables us to stay totally in sync.
It was incredible. I mean, I can't. So you're wearing this headpiece during the live performance,
In the performance.
and so you're hearing this.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And that's the only
honestly,
thing I could really
was
focus on.
super impressed. I mean, that you could hear that and still play.
And, as you know, there are a lot of notes in that piece.
Right.
And trying to click, 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 and fit all these notes in with that click. I've only done a small amount of stuff with a click, so tackling a big project like this was probably a new experience.
And it wasn't a
especially
short
the
piece
scope.
either. I mean,
No,
it
no,
was-
I
mean,
think
it says
7 minutes or
all
so,
about
yeah.
7 minutes. So
And to make it all come together, we actually had 10 people with the click track in their ear to try to help everybody stay in time.
because it wasn't just Mark. I mean, we had the whole orchestra there, and I mean, so we had key people listening to this, all staying on track.
And if you kind of focus on the concert mistress, she every once in a while she'd have a one that she was helping the rest of her section find that one, because it
Yeah, it was a little bizarre for me. I've played with orchestras a lot, but in this case, I didn't really hear our orchestra at all, because I have just in my ear click, 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 and I have just a little bit of the harp was going, and maybe some percussion that was being picked up, but I'm like, I don't even know what this whole thing sounds like. I'm so focused on.
But when you're in it, it's hard to see the whole picture.
So when
It's
you watched
trying
it,
to play it.
have you?
Oh,
now
I
when-
watched it. Yeah.
Now you're like, oh.
Oh yeah, I'm like, this is great.
Why, it was really good.
They sound good.
So, I mean, I don't want to call you a flamboyant player, but I'm going to, because it kind of fits. I mean, you not only are playing, but you are really, it's a performance.
Yeah.
And we talked about, like, in the video, at this piece, you're throwing your arm up, and you're hitting all those things during the 7-minute piece. How do you remember all that, and how does it?
I think, because we talked about that,
Yeah.
and you're like, I got these ideas if your hands are down here and your hands are up here. So I just tried to think about it as like how I would naturally play, and if it's big chords or something that you would come off of, that I would try to think the same way, as opposed as opposed to trying to choreograph and then remember it. But I think it just kind of worked. My natural tendency.
flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
did
was
write in
beautiful.
there. I wrote in there one spot.
Beautiful.
Keep
Don't-
hands down.
Okay. Sorry, I had to.
Well, and then there's also the choreography of Connor and the cameras.
Right, and that's what I was going
Yeah.
to get into.
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
was-
Well, and then, yeah, I mean, as I'm getting ready to come in, here comes to the side of me
the
a
camera.
camera, you know, the Roman camera right there, you know.
So
A
you're
little distracting.
all of your senses are just being
Yeah.
exploded right now with the distraction of the camera, this click in your ear, and trying to still
Yeah,
play
and
a.
I was, as we were talking about this, the thing that is present in my mind when we were in the forest was, okay, we're going to drop this drone in over your head while you're playing and listening to the click, playing this piano that was maybe a quarter step out of tune with the recording that we were
You're
using.
very kind.
I forgot that.
And then we're going to bring the drone in right over your head. So here I am playing, and right up here somewhere was this drone, you know, going off.
I totally forgot about
Oh
that.
yeah, it was something.
It was exciting.
I know it was very exciting.
I've never done anything on this scope.
Well-
you know, some little small video project kind of things, but never anything as large as this. It was a
Super
fantastic
yeah.
experience. Yeah.
So all these pieces kind of did it separately out in the forest and then in house. But I mean, Connor, you really you made this thing come to life. I mean, we had there were spots in the video where they were literally black. And so you had to be timed and had to choreograph where all the cameras were, not just on Mark, but the entire orchestra. Just tell us a little bit about how you were able to do that, because it was really impressive.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Personally, I think all the life was already, the vision, I think, is the life. I kind of looked at my part in all of this as just really sticking the landing. And so, yeah, the making of the video itself was a production of its own, and then everything in-house was also very, very involved. And so, lots of camera choreography. We had multiple cameras. There's a number of cameras in our sanctuary, and this piece still involves our whole orchestra and sort of dedicating different cameras to different zones, specific music pieces, and knowing when we're showing Mark in the video, when Mark is in house, and adhering to this vision that you all laid out for me to rehearse and memorize. And so it was great, and really, you know, for as involved as it is, it was manageable, just taking it one step at a time. And so the workflow for me was, once the video portion of it was done, just knowing, okay, what are these timestamps? When do I need to know we are in the video? When we are live? Okay, if we're live, when are we on Mark? Okay, when is there a prominent music section that we need to show off? Which music section is that? And so Jeremy, our organist, was pivotal in that part as well, along with Jennifer. And then it's repetition, and you kind of want to know it, and really knowing the piece itself, the music, really, really helps, because then we can anticipate these dramatic moments or when things go quiet. And so we have a couple of blackout parts for extra drama,
And don't forget about the terrorist
the
in the trees.
Yes, okay, it's a quick little segue, because now you're all going, what is Gary talking about?
We are wondering what Gary's talking about, but that's usually what happens.
That's par for the course.
So we had a warm body hiding out in the trees in our sanctuary. Our roaming camera person, Chase, longtime volunteer here at La Casa, invaluable to our work, just totally critical for the whole thing. And he was wearing all black, and he's rigged up in this whole Steadicam system with the big old camera, and got all these different shots of Mark for our in-house. And Saturday night cantata was great. We all felt really good about it. We come in Sunday morning, getting everything ready, and one of the women in the orchestra comes up to the AV booth, and she says, I just got to preface this whole thing and let you know that I work for the government. And so I'm like, we're like, where is this going?
Where is this going?
Yeah. I was like, are you about to say good job, or that everything was awful, or what? But she wanted to point out that she saw this black hooded figure roaming around in the trees all around Mark, and she had no idea who he was at one point. And I'm like, oh,
So it must be a terrorist.
I must be a terrorist. You would figure that this huge camera apparatus would give it away, but who knows?
But she thought the eye on the camera was the scope.
Yeah, yeah. It makes me wonder what branch of the government.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
Well, that's real nice.
but all that aside, it was a big effort for my part with the volunteers. Mapping out all of our cues for the choreography, going over that with Ethan, who was the camera switcher during that time. I was the shot caller for specifically Oh Holy Night. I was operating the camera switcher for the rest of Cantata. But we're on headsets, and as it's going, I'm watching where we're at in time with the video that's playing, and I'm reviewing my notes with the timestamps, and I'm calling out those cues. That's to Ethan on the switcher. That's to Chase, who's on headset with the roaming camera. And I didn't need to direct Anthony, who was controlling all of the lights, but he was also on headset just so he could hear that, and he's able to work with just that much, and he can just take it all from there.
He is. It was so instrumental to it. And
Yeah, so it was, for as involved and as big of a web of coverage as that is, I mean, in prep work, you just take it one step at a time, and we had enough ample time to go over everything, and then it became second nature. So,
well, you heard it about how many times? I mean, I'm counting about 10,402, I think, is my last count.
10,403 for me.
Three, okay, all right.
Yeah.
You
know,
probably heard
and
it
then
more than I did.
I came up with some extra times so that we could just
Yeah.
practice
Right,
it.
right.
You know, because I had the click and Jennifer had the click for conducting. And trying to conduct with a click with all those people and all the elements is crazy
Yes.
on its own.
crazy.
So just a few extra times to try to, get it locked into your body as opposed to just your brain trying to grab on.
Well, not to mention the time that you had to meet with the videographer and say, oh, my hands are
We
not.
shall remain unnamed.
Who says my hands are not matching up with what's on the film, and so they had to readjust, because it's not magic.
No.
And all the editing that had to go and the coloration
Oh, yeah.
and all of that had to go into the post-production of the film in the forest was amazing. Lots and lots of work
Lots
there.
of work.
And I think that person had the music memorized as well.
He did.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and if he was more, camera ready, he'd be sitting here too. But
Yes, yes.
Someone's got to operate the camera in this video as well. So,
Similar to Connor, I wrote in my score, my music, live video, so that in my brain I would know what was happening in that moment.
Right.
And then it's weird, like way back here, this little part of my brain was tracking the guy in the trees, moving around the set for the next shot. So he's here, and then, we go to video, and then he's over here, so it was a
Right,
big
make sure I look
dance.
cool.
A big dance. Yeah. Okay, here comes the camera.
Yeah.
Arms up.
Everybody smile.
oh my gosh. Well, it was a wonderful cantata. I mean,
Thank you.
obviously
Yeah.
that was one little piece.
Right,
of it.
one little
I mean,
piece.
it was kind of the crescendo, maybe.
Yes, Tony.
The crown. We won't say it.
Okay.
Tell us what it is.
I think, the previous year we did the Hallelujah from the Messiah, and that was our big video project. And this year, this is our big video project. And next year, I think we're going to put Connor in a tutu.
Now that
I have the legs for it. So
best cantata ever. There was a lot of buzz, Jennifer. There was a lot of buzz outside the sanctuary after the cantata was finished. So well done.
Well, thank
it was a
you.
beautiful cantata. All the music
Start
pieces
to finish,
were
I
just
thought it was
really
wonderful.
wonderful. I mean,
Seamless,
from the bells to
one
the
to the
orchestra
next,
to you, Mark. I mean, really, it was really beautiful. I think meant a lot to a lot of people this Christmas season.
Well,
so.
I hope it brought Christmas forward and the word forward. All of the readings, I just, aside, the Bible readings are super important. You get to hear it a lot during Christmas season. So I was trying to mix in, Isaiah or Luke, whatever, with certain poems or something that really. I hope people go back and listen to the readings or read them. I heard a lot of people took their bulletins because they wanted to remember,
well, yeah.
which is
It's awesome.
lovely. And so I would hope that would, all of that, the whole blending brings Christmas forward for everybody.
So that was, our theme was Love's Pure Light. And I think
Love's
that,
Pure
that
Light.
just rang true for the whole cantata. So
Thank you.
guys, I mean, literally well done from start to finish. I mean, everybody did just
Yeah.
a great job, even you, Derek.
Oh,
With that, we've got the actual full video that we'd like to show you. So here's the full video from the forest. Enjoy and have a very Merry Christmas.